Welcome to the Spiral Out Podcast. Thinking outside the box of the box that the box is in.
It's the Spiral Out Podcast firing up again. This is Sunday evening. It's the 10th of September, 2017. And tonight I'm just going to kind of jump around topics. Hurricane Irma seems to have kind of started to peter out. And no deaths have been reported yet that I'm aware of. And that's a good thing. They seem to like to get the people to leave the area. I think I'm on to the conspiracy that it's the meteorologists that stay behind and stand in the driving wind and rain that are looting your jewels. Maybe not. Anyway, I had a listener bring up DMT that maybe I should do DMT, and I'm thinking, wow, man. Worked for Joe Rogan. Maybe I should. You know, that they say massive quantities, copious amounts of DMT are released at the time of death. So you're just on this big ass trip, man. I mean, it's probably a good thing, right? We always assume that death is painful and there's some kind of fear there. Well, not if you're loaded up with the DMT, man. What is that? Dimethyltryptamine? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I was also thinking about death and the 21 grams theory, if you've ever heard of that. Supposedly they did research where they noticed that the human body loses 21 grams at the time of death, which is interesting. My perspective on it is that it's probably the electrical energy that your body, you know, we're electrical beings. There's a pulse running through you, and maybe that's like the resistance of the soul, the energy, the electrical energy being that you are, to gravity, if gravity is what it is. These are just things I'm kicking around. But noticing that, yeah, this storm, usually when we have one hurricane and it's pretty bad, and they call for mass evacuations the second time around, and it's usually not as bad, which is also a good thing. But a lot of people, I think up to 6.3 million people were evacuated, or whether it was mandatory or voluntary. Interesting. But think about that, man. You see that Jim Cantori, or yeah, that's his name, right? I think he's a jewel thief or something, man. He stands there in that driving rain, and then you don't see him anymore. So if you have a jewel heist, be looking for those folks. Yeah, now, as far as future podcasts, I'm trying to keep these under 5 minutes if I can, so they're quick and interesting hits. But if you've got anything you'd like to hear me talk about, please leave comments, and I will just, discuss them, address them, and we'll see how that goes. Need some listeners. Spread the word. If you did hear this, then you are required to like it, to share it, to subscribe to this channel. This is Spiral Out Podcast. We will be back within the next 24 hours with another stimulating podcast. You know what I'm talking about. This podcast is full on topple. It's for you. Alright? Alright. You all have a good time, a good day, a good night, wherever you are. And this is Spiral Out Podcast, and we are out.